Okay, this is Paul of the Junk Farm, and we're going into one of my warehouses in town. Like there wasn't enough place at the farm for my junk. Here's where I keep the rest of it. Let's see what's inside. Behold, what a dump. Let's shut the door to keep the raccoons out. There we go. Ah, look at this mess. Stuff as far as the eye can see. Radios, record players, switcher panels. There's a nice antique cabinet there. I need to find the guts too. Here's one of my other workshops where I keep the good stuff. There's a Wurlitzer jukebox I'd like to get back to, and some antique radios I'd like to do. Record players, parts, lighting and electrical. Good God, where's it in? A tube you can't change in a plastic base. Instead of a ballast, it has a resistor molded into the plastic down both sides to act as a ballast for the tube. And if you feel of it, it gets hot. And they expect you to put this against your wall, your countertop, and it's hot to the touch.
I haven't had any fires lately.
This is a fire waiting to happen. They've not been made in a number of years. They should never have been made in the first place. This should never have been approved. This has a UL approval on it. Right friggin' there. Destroy them. The cord is nice. It fits all kinds of stuff. These I wouldn't use if it was the last light bulb on earth. They are just wrong, wrong, wrong.
All right.
This was supposed to be somebody's wood shop, but they never used it, so since I'm paying the rent, I moved my junk in instead. Filled it right up. Back here, we've got more and more and more. Let me see. Jukebox parts, Seaburg Library unit, ex-sister-in-law's jukebox. All kinds of good junk. Down this way, aisle upon aisle of junk, stuff I got out of a junkyard in Fort Worth, and antique radios, telephone switchboard. I'd like to find one of those that wasn't all beat up and had the guts ripped out of it. If I can get this in the shot. 1960s Zenith color console with vacuum tubes. Still working, sort of. Color's kind of funny, but I know how to fix it. I remember those sets. Remote controlled Packard Bell with a wired remote. I love this one. Here's a Packard Bell black and white television from the early 60s. No UHF tuner, so it's pre-63. And it is remote controlled via a long cable with knobs on the end. In the early 60s, this was the best you could do. And ultrasonic infrared remote hadn't been invented yet. Nice Motorola Hi-Fi, sounds great, but everybody wanted stereo. All the motels and hotels had pay radios. You put in a quarter for about 3 hours of radio listening. Nothing was free. Nobody had TV sets yet. Some of them even had pay electric fans before air conditioning. Those are really hard to find. Back, well, we've got, let me see. There's the world's largest projector light bulb collection. Any projector you can name or can't name, there's a light bulb for it. Light bulbs to every film projector, slide projector you can imagine. And these days, there's just not much call for them. But there they sit. Down that aisle, we've got all kinds of junk I pulled out of a junkyard in Fort Worth years ago. Need to go through it and see what's worth keeping and what needs to go to the junkyard. This is my ex-sister-in-law's jukebox I need to get fixed. More jukeboxes that need to be fixed. And there's my favorite toy. Let me see if I can get to it. My Seaburg Library unit. These are the best thing ever. I've got several of them. May turn the volume down on it real quick because nobody wants to hear the music on YouTube. But holds 100 45 RPM records, plays both sides. It'll play all day. That is living. Let me see, some antique radios, stuff to be scrapped, jukebox parts. Here's one I got to get back on. 1928 Victor radio phonograph with an electric record player. That was big. No more horn sticking up. This thing had volume and a volume control. See, I did pretty good actually. That was pretty neat. Play records through your new loudspeaker electric radio. Funny looking tone arm. I don't know what they were thinking. A couple of them sitting there to be done. Cabinets out of Hammond organs from the 30s. Big tube amps. The tube guys really love those. Ugly but fantastic sounding. A little Philco Hi-Fi. Has an amazing sound for a little tube, 3-tube amplifier. Junk and junk and junk and parts to stuff in things. Lamps. I like lamps. Dead microwaves. There's the Wurlitzer jukebox that killed Wurlitzer. That one still works. It's full of country and western records. It's fun to listen to. And down this way, go all the way to the back and work our way forward. There's an antique candy machine from the 60s. Saw one of those at Canton. They want $800 for it. I may be rich yet. An addressograph, a machine that takes aluminum plates and used to type your customer's name, address, and any other information on it and attach it to a sheet of cardboard and use it for embossing the statement at the end of the month to save typing the statement. Great piece of machinery. Still runs. Makes dog tags. And lamps, antique turntable. Junk back in here I haven't laid eyes on in years. Equipment racks, a door I wish I'd had the other day because I had to buy one. Cases of light bulbs that have been outlawed. They use too much power, you know. Imagine one of those antique floor lamps over there with a 500-watt light bulb in it. Make a great reading light. Somebody with a loft or a warehouse ought to be eating those up. 3-tube projector in that box, only 80 lumens, not bright enough for anybody. These are neat. These came out of the local radio station. These hung on the wall, and the DJs used to put the carts, look like 8-tracks. They had all the commercials and the smart aleck remarks on it on the wall, so they could just grab it and shove it in the machine and play the next song or the next news clip or the next fart sound effect. There again, before computers. Some Wurlitzer jukeboxes I'd like to get back to work on. I love these. You put a 78 on those and it sounds so good. Nothing like seeing a 78 being played like a flying saucer in midair. Those are great for 78s. Got 2 or 3 of them in here. There's one that's probably almost complete. Junk, 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 junk. Stuff I need to get rid of. Discontinued fluorescent lights that are no longer made. Stage lighting, appliances, and who knows what back there. There's a piece I need to dig out. That's a European-made absorptive refrigerator. Runs on electricity. Just about big enough to hold a 6-pack of beer and a stick of butter. Spare jukebox parts, antique air conditioner, record players, tape recorders, who knows what. I've got a tape recorder I need to find in here. I need parts for one. And I'll bet it's hiding back here somewhere. Portable TVs, squirrel cage. Boy, it's time to clean house. Nice German console if anybody had room for it. Tube type stereo, sounds wonderful. Very Danish modern. Nobody wants furniture anymore. TV cabinet I should throw out. Guts are gone, but it's such a pretty cabinet. Let's see what's down at the other end.